I liked biology since I was born, I guess, because my parents tell me stories about me going around and like collecting every little thing that I could in my hands, and them having to like uncurl them whenever I got home, and having a bunch of like ladybugs, or like one time I chased after a snake and they had to like stop me from doing that. But I've just always loved biology and knowing the mechanism behind how things work, like how a human ticks and just everything behind living stuff.
Especially last year, I was in AP Bio. I was a senior in high school, and we started talking about cancer cells, and it was the most interesting textbook. It was a section of a textbook I've ever read in my life. I don't think I've ever been excited to read a textbook, but with biology I am. And so I think if I like reading textbooks, then I'm in the right subject.
I just felt very fancy, like using a centrifuge and putting things in test tubes, and I was like, this is what real science looks like, even though I had no clue what real science looked like.
Learning about how like the world works, because I thought that was really interesting, because like literally you can just like look at the plants and then you just think of like, oh, photosynthesis, or just like anything like that.
I like biology because it's just a ton of different puzzles that are interconnected. If you change one thing, it's going to cause a ripple effect of a ton of different other things. And I like learning about those systems and figuring out how you can manipulate them or fix them if something goes wrong.
As a Girls in Science camp, I attended summer before my 6th grade year. And it was purely girls, which like it stimulated like women in science, which I thought was really cool. And I wanted to be another woman in science, so that's my earliest memory.
Because you study life. I mean, it explains how a lot of things work in life, in humans, in plants, animals.
I first decided I liked biology because I loved all the ways that like the pieces of each process fit together. One thing can't work on its own. It has to be a part of like a larger body and a larger like system in order to work. And so it all like fits together like a perfect little puzzle.
I've really enjoyed being a supplemental instructor for Biology 101. That essentially means that I help out the professor in class by answering students' questions while we're having discussions or hosting my review sessions outside of class. I've really enjoyed that because it's helped me to dive even further into the kind of general biology topics that we cover in that class, because students will ask me questions that I didn't even think about, and so then I'm also interested in finding out the answers. So it's really been an enjoyable experience for me, and I hope I've had an impact on some students' biology journey.
That it's taken something that I was interested in and made me even more interested in. Like I always kind of like liked science, but being a biology major made me really enjoy it and really enjoy biology.
All of the students in the department are really committed to helping each other succeed, so you rarely see students that are pitting themselves against one another. You see everyone trying to help each other learn.
Is that they really do care about the student, and they want to make sure that the student understands what they're studying, and they're here to help you. So if you need the help and you go look for it, you'll definitely find it. Plus, they want to teach you the material, not just test you on it.
I've enjoyed most being surrounded by a lot of other biology majors who also love biology and kind of get to geek out with me about it all the time, which is so fun.
Is the doors that it opens and the different paths that I get to explore. Like, I am also a women and gender studies minor, and there's things you wouldn't think go together, but there's so many connections and professionally.
It's pushed me, but to know that I can do hard things.
The thing I've enjoyed most is the conversations between my peers and I. We can learn about something in class like CRISPR, or like genetics is my favorite class. And then me and my peers, like half of which are bio majors, will just go and like discuss it afterwards over coffee or something like that. It's just nice to be able to talk about it and to be like.
Definitely the research here. There are so many labs, either through the medical school or nursing school or pharmacy. There's a million different things you can do, and it's a way that you can apply the research and things you've learned in class to something in the real world.
People, and you start to get to know your professors and build relationships, and it just feels like a major where people are really doing things and people are participating and interacting and engaging with their classwork and are trying really hard, and I know that my fellow students are just as dedicated and determined as I am, and it kind of helps me to feel more challenged every day to do my best and to succeed.
In like spreading your biology wings and not just taking classes and then going home and study, but like getting involved in research on campus or doing other things. And I feel like the faculty is really fantastic.
I really love how supportive the biology department here at UNC is. If you need help, you just have to go and talk to your professor or talk to your TAs, talk to your peer mentors, or talk to just your peers, and they'll help you out with anything you need. If you're struggling, or even if you're just like curious about like a certain method, like, oh, how do you put GFP inside E. coli? You can just go and sit down, like schedule an appointment with your professor, or you can often go to their open office hours, and then you can just talk to them about anything that's on your mind. And it's a really good environment to promote learning here at UNC.
They really know their stuff. I hear every day cool things about different professors that I didn't know. Like, you'll see someone walking down the hallway and you're like, oh, he has a Nobel Prize in chemistry, and you're like, okay, and he's teaching your class. So that's just really cool to me, and really passionate and knowledgeable people to learn from that have gone really far in their careers, and it's very inspirational.